Hello guys, welcome to another vlog. So this time around we're going to talk about a lot of hobby stuff. So like I mentioned in my last vlog video, I have been going through all my multiple systems to get rid of the multiple systems I have. Because around 5 years ago when I started deciding, or 4 or 5 years ago when I started deciding, I want to collect retro video games of the systems I love, or get games for them to play them back then. When I used to go to garage sales or any store used to sell video games, I would buy everything. I wouldn't concentrate on one system or anything. I would buy everything. And a lot of times there'd be lots of games with systems on it and good price, so I'd buy it because I wanted the games. I didn't have them, so I built up multiple systems through many ways, and they're taking up space. It's time to finally get rid of them. Because originally when I bought them back then, man, I need to have an extra in case something happens, but it's I really don't need this. Just taking up space kind of thing. And I got rid of a PlayStation 1 and an Xbox 360. Now, PlayStation 1 was the third one I had. I still have my wife's original PlayStation 1 and mine. I'm never going to get rid of those two, but the other one had to be one that we had bought from my wife's father years ago for nothing, because she has this pirate game on the PlayStation 1 that he really liked, and he kept borrowing hers, so she bought him one for him, and he let him borrow the game, and he played it for, I think, a month or so. And there's actually, the level he got to, I didn't know it until I read up on the game, there's actually a major glitch where there's no way to beat the game. That level is impossible to beat, so he didn't want to play anything else, so it sat there for a long time, and eventually he gave it back to us, and so I got rid of that one. And you're probably asking, how many 360s you had? I had 4 360s at one point. Did you pay for all those? Absolutely not. I would not buy a system 4 times, especially for the Red Ring. I only buy a system maybe one other time, then I'm done. But in this case, about 3 years ago, my mom and her husband sold their pawn shop. They're retiring, and the new guy was a tech guy, and he just didn't want any video games, which, by the way, I used to go there to get my video games, the old stuff. And so they were there. They had no hard drives. They had no controllers. They just had the hookups. I said, I'll take them. And it's one of those weird cases where you put something in a room, you put stuff around it, you completely forget it's there. Maybe it's months, maybe it's years. In this case, it was years. And I was moving stuff around and found them. And I hooked them both up the other day. And one of them works perfectly fine, the one I got rid of. And the other wing is actually red ring. It's red ringed. And when I originally bought it, hooked it up, it worked fine. Or I didn't buy it. When I originally got it, hooked it up, it worked fine. So I'll get rid of it another way. But I took the two systems into the same place. I actually got these box Super Nintendo games, or Super Nintendo boxes. There are no games inside. And I took it to him. He tried them out. And again, I said, to me, when I get rid of stuff, I get rid of stuff to turn into someone who's going to be fair, or someone who maybe I like, or is a gamer who could take care of it. In this case, the dude works the store by himself. He works open to close. He's decent. He's good with prices. He doesn't try to rip people off. He tells you how much he's going to get for it, and then he tells you how much he's going to offer. And so with people like that, I couldn't help but take it in for him, and I gave him a reasonable price for it. I'm not. I'm just trying to get rid of it. I'm not really worried about, oh my gosh, did I get all my value out of it? Because I got them for nothing. So, I did get stuff with it, but I'll show that in a pickup video. I'm not sure when. I got more Super Nintendo boxes. One of them really means a lot to me from my childhood, but I'm going to be getting rid of a couple more double systems, and when I get that in and whatever I end up getting after I get rid of that, then I'll make a pickup video. But it's funny because when I talk about Mega Replay and all my pickups all the time, their selection, especially the Nintendo Entertainment System and Super Nintendo, is really not good anymore. It's really a lot of the same games in there. I go there all the time now. My NES collection is only it's almost at 170. It's not there yet, and there's a lot of regular games. Games are easy to find everywhere that I don't have. So it's not like when I go there, not like when I go there, I'm like, man, I'm only looking for these little amount of games. So at Super Nintendo, I have 50. So in that case, there's a ton of games I don't have. but their selection isn't very good. Their selection has kind of gone down in that aspect. It's like they're not concentrating on that old stuff. It's just like N64 on what they're really concentrating on. So also they've had more competition with this store I just talked about, the Trading Post, which he always has different stuff than they do. And another old store I have in town, it just that carries old stuff like from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. You know, they have like books, records, books. I mean, they have like the original Gremlin 3 books that came out. You may not remember them. I believe when they given out at a fast food place, I think, or something. I had one at one point. They have like those on the wall. They have like old 80 toy. They have like a television system, an Atari 2600, and a Saturn in a case, in perfect condition. They have a lot of old like video games, but their games are all in perfect condition, just like the place Trading Post. His stuff's only in perfect condition. So when I go in there in both those places looking for stuff, I know I'm getting it in perfect condition, but I also know I'm going to pay a little more, but I'd rather, it doesn't matter to me if I got to pay a little more if it's the games I want. And also, I know it's going to be in great condition, whereas Mega Replay, there are games that are missing a label in there, and that's just, when you buy a game and you don't just pick out a case there, you have to look at it, because there could be marker all over it, or it could be scratched up, or whatever. You really have to look at it before you buy it. In those two places, you don't have to. So, and the more competition, there's more places that sell retro games now in my area, so there's more competition to get it. I love supporting the local guys anyway. It's kind of cool. But enough about rambling about that. Let's talk about my next gaming thing, and this has to do with my son. So my Super Nintendo games are kind of moving around, but right behind my Super Nintendo games are actually my GameCube games. I only have, 40 of them? 30, 40 GameCube games? And to be honest with you, I have my GameCube right here. I've only hooked this thing up the day I bought it to make sure it works. And honestly, I've never hooked this up again. To tell you the truth, I never owned a GameCube when it originally came out. And the reason being is a rather simple one. I didn't like the disc format they chose. I thought they should have chose DVD for their format. And they didn't. And I was big into PlayStation, Sony PlayStation 1 and 2 at this point. And I decided I don't need a GameCube. So I never played it. And it's a shame because there are a lot of great games on that system looking at it now. So I haven't played it much. And my son had to pull out Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life, and he really wants to try it. So I've been getting the cords out to play that. I bought a GameCube controller like in Kansas City when I was on vacation just to play it because I've never actually played it much. I want to. But because I wants to play that, and a couple years ago we packed everything up, my video games, because we had the sewer line worked on and had to tear out the basement. I put my Game Boy player for the N64 or GameCube, what I want to call N64, in a box, and now I'm going through the boxes trying to find it because I want to hook it up to it. Since I'm going to play it, I might as well hook it all up. And I have the disc with the player, by the way, and play it, play it all. So that'd be kind of cool to play that with them. When I play this game with him, I will never get rid of it because there's just going to be too many memories tied playing with him. It's really cool to be able to play video games, with your kid, and memories. And why I'm lucky in the fact that my son, while he does play newer video games, he can walk up to a case, doesn't matter what generation it is, and if he decides he wants to play it, he'll sit down and play it. He doesn't care about graphics and that stuff. He only cares if he can play it, right? If the controls are bad, he's not going to play it very long. But we're lucky that he's not into like graphics and everything, so that's kind of really cool. Outside that, he started school this week, so of course there's all of our changes in the schedule, and the first week is always the roughest when it goes back to school, but that's the way that always is. And really outside that, there really isn't nothing much else going on. Oh yeah, there is. It's funny because during the 90s, and in high school, I was big into the BattleTech tabletop game, right? I had the year guides, everybody knows the year guides, 2750, the different year guides they had, 3050, all that stuff. And I had the year guides, and I played it a lot in high school. And I played Dungeons & Dragons a little bit, and I saw that, I knew the starter edition was out. I've seen Happy Council Games video on that, but I saw that the books had finally come out. And part of me in a weird way would like to get them, even though I don't play Dungeons & Dragons a lot anymore. because I remember playing that in high school, and I did have fun the couple times I played it with a group who played BattleTech, but they didn't play it that often. But I actually have the 70s Monster Guide for Dungeons and Dragons and Player Guide stuff. I don't remember if it's the first edition or second edition, uh, but I have both of them, and then, or I have 3 books of it with the monster, and I have the Monster Guide, and I bought the monster one at garage sale because I thought the monsters looked cool as a kid, and then when again talking about my mom's pawn shop, when they were moving out, they were getting rid of everything, and they were going to the basement, and when they went to the basement, they found that Godzilla, which is awesome because I love Godzilla, but they also found that same set of books, and so I have 2 sets of those books, and part of me just wants to get those books to like kind of sit down and read Dungeons and Dragons, the books, and that kind of stuff. It's the old nostalgic part of me. Which is funny you bring up Happy Council Gamer real quick, because today I did some birthday shopping for my wife because her birthday's middle of next month. You know, getting that all done, what I'm going to do. I'm not just going to do that. I'm going to cook and other stuff for her. So taking that day off for her birthday from work. And every time, like I watched Happy Council Gamer, one of their Christmas videos the other day, and every year I watch one of those videos, I go, man, I should really plan out the Christmas like they do, plan out stuff, that I really want to give them through the whole year instead of just like 2 weeks before Christmas. And then every year, 2 weeks before Christmas, I have to rush and get when I'm going to get them. I was actually happy with when I got them last year, even though I only got it like 2 weeks before Christmas. But I kind of started getting Christmas now, and I'm starting to plan out because I really want to, make it really cool instead of the last minute thing this year. So put a lot of time and attention to it for once. So that's really all that's going on in my blog, guys. Besides that, my video game life, that first one came out. I was really happy about that, even though I had that kind of jump cut at the very near the end of it, because that video was actually my first run, just sitting down recording it at once until I get to that jump cut. And then right when I got to the very end, something happened. I completely just sputtered out at the very end of that video. I don't know what happened. And then I recorded a part again where I thought I was gonna add in, but I didn't. And then I just added the end part. And but outside, I'm really proud of, like, it was fun doing all the work and putting all the pictures and stuff into that. I've already got the next couple kind of started already. I don't want to kind of like do it like once a week. I do want to do those like all the time. So I'm gonna be working on those and getting those out. They're not like the vlog and like the community. I don't want to set a date. I just want to like put them all out. Put them all out. I'd love to have one like 3 a week if I could. So it's fun going down memory lane, playing those games again, talking about them. The games that mean a lot to me. Sharing my experiences is always really cool. So this thing's like over 12 minutes at this time, guys. So that's good enough for the vlog for this week, guys. So thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting, subscribing like always. And I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.